to share with you my personal brand. My brand is a result of many influences that have formed the man I am today. Behind me is a collage that is illustrative of the many formative influences that have shaped and continue to shape my brand. And I thought the best way to share my brand is by telling you the stories of how these values were formed. I was born in the shadow of Lambeau Field, home of the Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. Honestly, I bleed green and gold. I attended a mixed-gender Catholic school known as Notre Dame de la Bay Academy, where I was a two-sport athlete competing in cross-country and tennis. The lessons I learned participating in these sports are greatly reflected in my brand. It was an influential 4 years and brought me to my current home at Duke University. Duke has been an incredibly rich time for the development of my brand. There are so many opportunities here to enable growth as a person. I have enjoyed and been shaped by my academic path, but it has been the service opportunities, research, and club sports that have been the most transformative. My values have stemmed from the experiences that have shaped my life, whether it be the people who taught, coached, befriended, or nurtured me, or the groups and organizations to which I have been associated. These values represent what is most important to me. The development of my personal brand is an evolution, and I would like to share how these values became a part of the fabric of my being. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Service was instilled in me from a young age by my mom. My mom is a very active community member. She tutors kids at an inner city high school and focuses on teen mothers staying in school. The bottom line is, my mom cares about people and wants to help. From a young age, she encouraged me to accompany her and helped me find my philanthropic voice. My mother has shaped me in many ways, but her commitment to the community and her desire to help people at an individual, personal level has been a gift. She taught me the true definition of philanthropy is not just donating money for the betterment of others. It means love of mankind. I was first exposed to true racial and economic diversity, helping at the after-school program known as the Boys and Girls Club. This culminated in a service trip to rural Mississippi, where I came to understand the extreme disparity between my life and others in our country, and this cemented my resolve to find a way to live in service to others. I find great joy and satisfaction in making a difference in a person's life, and it is my desire to actively seek opportunities to make a difference in the lives of others. There is a reason that service is first on my list of values that I desire to represent in my brand. My current positions at the Duke Children's Hospital and Duke Hospice have reinforced and refined that desire. In the Duke Children's Hospital, I've learned the value of perspective. A quote from the book, The Secret Garden, encapsulates how kids think about the world. If you look the right way, you can see that the whole world is a garden. Kids are incredible. They see the world in a way that we are no longer capable. Children are able to smile, joke and play in situations that seem so dire, and yet they still have an incredible outlook on the world. I've worked with kids who just a few days after a bone marrow transplant have smiled at me, joked with me, and played with me. It makes me think about life and what is really important. I strive to find the inner child in everything that I do. It is a joy to be with these kids, and part of my personal brand is to always retain the perspective of childhood innocence. My brand has expanded to include advocacy with empathy. Throughout my work with Duke Hospice, this quote, "They may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how they made them feel, how you made them feel," is extremely indicative to my time with hospice. My first hospice patient wasn't able to speak, did not remember who I was, although I visited him weekly. He could barely move his body. He had huge cysts on his hands and pieces of flaky skin peeling off of his head. And I loved him. He was my patient. His gift to me was he taught me the incredibly important lesson about the value of being an advocate. I was the only person outside of the nursing home that saw him regularly, as none of his family members visited him. He taught me that advocating for the simplest things can make a difference for someone nearing the end of his life. Nursing homes are busy places, and he loved coffee. He rarely got an extra cup unless I came to visit. That extra cup of coffee was the basis of the only time I got to see him smile. When he sipped slowly on his mug, you just see his lips just creep up. It's awesome. I am now an advocate for the dying, and in addition, find myself empowered to advocate for my friends, teammates, and others that may benefit for others working on their behalf. Incorporating advocacy for others into my personal brand has brought me great personal satisfaction. Thomas Merton once said, "Pride makes us artificial, and humility makes us real." My grandfather embodies this idea. He has every right to be prideful. As a youth, he was extremely athletic. He actually used to dive off of 40-foot cliffs into the water, do front flips on his skis, and was a collegiate track athlete. But in his early 40s, he was diagnosed with a disease that caused him to become progressively handicapped, to the point that he now requires 24-hour assistance. My grandfather has accepted his condition with humility and chooses to live life to the fullest despite his disabilities. His friends and family respect and admire him. He is beloved. I attribute this primarily to his humility. My grandfather is a role model for me, and therefore it would be impossible for me not to strive to be humble as a part of my personal brand. Another formative role model for my brand is my father. He has shown me the importance of being passionate about the work that you do. My idea of passion is embodied in Vince Lombardi's, the iconic coach of the Green Bay Packers, quote, "Unless a man believes in himself and makes a total commitment to his career and puts everything he has into it, his mind, his body, his heart, what's life worth to him?" My father does not have an easy job. On average, he works a 12-hour day and often has to stay up all night. If anyone was doing his job for the money, they would have burned out years ago. Instead, my father is one of the most optimistic and happy individuals I've ever met. Even when he has been up 24 hours, he still has the energy and passion for his work. He has shown me that whatever job I choose, that it has to be the right fit, and that it is important to be passionate about my chosen field. I strive, because of him, to put my personality, emotions, and thoughts into my career. My personal brand would lack an important part of who I am if it did not include passion. Albert Einstein provides a great quote for the next value in my personal brand: curiosity. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery each day. My work in the Animal Locomotion Lab at Duke has taught me the value of thinking outside the box and exploring knowledge outside of a normal classroom setting. Currently, I am studying the gaze behaviors of runners, which combines my passion for running and my curiosity for science. My work in the Animal Locomotion Lab has taught me the importance of gaining a great foundation by reading scientific literature and doing the extensive background work necessary to form an experiment and test an idea. The hard work, collaboration of the lab, and the curiosity I feel for learning material should translate well into my future career as a physician. I seek, as an important part of my personal brand, to always be on the lookout for something new to learn and explore. Believe in we. This is the slogan of my cross-country team during my freshman year of high school. My cross-country coach, John Gard, is one of the most influential men in my life. He taught me what it means to have faith in other people. I was frequently nervous and nauseated before cross-country races, and the greatest thing he told me was to put that nervousness, that anxiety, into all of my teammates. In other words, that I should run for my teammates, my brothers, instead of myself. Cross-country is a sport that requires you to believe in the people running with you to do the job that they were assigned. I always had faith in Coach Gard to get me through any race, and I believed in all of my teammates as well. I discovered that if I have faith in those around me, together we can accomplish huge things. Additionally, Coach, as I will forever call him, was my confirmation sponsor, and he helped me to grow in my Catholic faith as well. Coach has taught me that faith in man and God is an integral part of my brand. I really do believe in we. In the best-selling novel, The Boys in the Boat, Daniel James Brown wrote, "It is a great art. It is rowing. It is the finest art there is. It is a symphony of motion. And when you're rowing well, why, it's nearing perfection. And when you near perfection, you're touching the divine. It touches the you of yous, which is your soul. Rowing really is living, breathing, moving art. And this sport taught me about seeing the beauty in nature and to be present for those moments. When I reflect on my time on the water, I treasure the sound of the slight trickle of bubbles as the boat glides gently through the water and the peaceful view of the beautiful stars of the 5 a.m. skyline. There are many things that rowing taught me, but this notion of being present in the moment is one of the most important. I have used this value in every aspect of my life. I try to be present for all the people I interact with and enjoy the small moments in life. Those small moments are often so fleeting. If one does not live in the moment, they'll be gone in the instant. And this is why, especially when I'm with people, I try to be as present as possible. This is why being present is an integral part of my brand. Tennis taught me the value of persistence and to view failure as a chance to grow. In tennis, I lost a lot of points, games, sets, matches. It is a daunting and often degrading sport that requires precise timing and skill. Tennis taught me to be persistent and never give up. It taught me to be humble in victory and gracious in defeat. And failure pushed me to be disciplined and seek constant improvement. In tennis, my persistence was rewarded. Over 4 years, I progressed from the bottom of the varsity to state champion. And one of my favorite quotes from the Batman series, which is actually some of my favorite movies, sums up this value really well. Alfred picks up Bruce and he says, "Why do we fall?" So we can learn to pick ourselves up. And this is how persistence became a huge part of my brand. Courage is also forged from failure and adversity. Winston Churchill wisely said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." I once passed out near the end of a cross-country race. It was a horrible experience where I was revived in an ambulance by 2 wonderful EMTs and was transported with screaming sirens and flashing lights to the emergency room. After receiving IV fluids, it was determined my kidney function was poor, and I was told I could not run until my kidneys returned to normal. I was always taught that people run away from their fears, but my fear had become running. When I was medically cleared to run, I should have been euphoric because I had the chance to help my team qualify for the state championship, a feat that we had not accomplished as a school in over a decade. But I was truly scared to return to the course. I ultimately ran through my fear, requalified, and I learned a lot about digging deep and facing one's fears. From this experience, I had courage as an important value in my personal brand because sometimes it takes courage to achieve what you want in life, and then it often takes courage to do the right thing, even though it sometimes is easier to run away. Fun. I just like to have fun. I like to laugh. I think it's just, I was born that way. I'm goofy, I'm different, I love being happy, and my personal brand just would not be complete without the value of fun. My grandpa, the one from previously in the slideshow, he always closes phone conversations by saying, he tells me to smell the roses, which means just go have fun and live life. So these are how the values that comprise the Mark Cullen brand were formed. But my values are not static and will certainly evolve as I gain more life experiences. So what do I want to be known for? It is my fervent hope that I am viewed by others as a genuine individual. I am true to myself in that I don't do things that might round out my resume. When I do something, it's because I really care about it and I commit to it. I also hope people find me to be empathetic to their issues and positions. As a future physician, I will not always be able to cure, but I will always be able to care for the people that I'm treating. In addition, I desire for my friends, colleagues, employers to describe me as loyal. I want them to think of me as someone that they can depend on. And I also have the desire to act with humility and try not to let pride or arrogance intrude upon who I claim to be as a person. Finally, I want to bring happiness and be surrounded by happiness. I've been described as a Labrador, and I think this is a good way to describe me. Big, loving, loyal, and exuberant, always ready to go for a run or chase a ball. Professionally, my goal is to become an incredible physician, both in skill and compassion. Most importantly, I hope that I am a good grandson, son, brother, and later husband and father. I intend to stand up for what I believe in and hope to have more fun on the journey that will be my life. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my personal brand, and go Duke.